Hi everybody, it's Marty and I'm back again to do a second video on my favorite 1950s and 1960s science fiction shows, or movies. And I want to get right into it because, you know, I had a lot of interest on the first one, so I thought I'd show some more. I'm going to do another 10 DVDs or so. But let's start right off with one that got put in my comments. It's the War of the Worlds. It's a Gene Barry. It's a George Pal production. Very well done. You know, very beautiful miniatures and nice special effects. You know, for 1953, it was pretty high quality. And I like the story. Actually, I like the story better than the modern version of War of the Worlds that came out a few years back. The second one, this got mentioned also. It's Them. And this is a giant ant story. And of course, the ants are giant because the nuclear testing in the desert. The funny thing about these guys is these ants don't move very quickly for ants. You know, when you see small ones walking around the ground, they move pretty darn quick. But when you get them a lot bigger, they don't seem to move very quick. You can outrun them very easily. In fact, this woman in high heels almost outran one, except that she tripped. This is pretty good acting and a good script. It has James Whitmore in it, who is quite famous and very, very, very good actor. Got cat fur on it. This is one of my favorites of all time. It's the Toho collection. These are 3 Japanese films. Everybody recognizes Mothra right off the bat because Mothra is in the Godzilla films, and it's just a name that you hear all the time. The second one, Battle in Outer Space, was a real pleasant surprise for me because I had never seen that one, either on TV or in the theaters or anything. And it has some of the best Japanese miniatures I've ever seen. Although the space station is pretty bogus. When they're on the moon with these little moon automobiles, they're really, really, really good. So, and it has the usual typical Japanese acting. It's pretty good. They overact a little bit, but when you see it in the original Japanese, it's much better. Third film on this one is called The H-Man. And the H-Man gave me a lot of trouble when I was a kid, because it's like this radioactive thing that kind of creeps along sides of walls and maybe gets up, you know, up there by the ceiling and the wall. And I used to think, you know, lie in bed and think that it was coming for me. It was going to get in the window, creep along the top, and drop on me, because when it does, it dissolves you. Pretty horrifying, really. You know, when I was a kid, you know, maybe 11 or 12, when I saw that, it scared the heck out of me. I didn't sleep for about 3 weeks. These are collections. This is a 5-movie collection. It's called the Sci-Fi Ultimate Collection, Classic Ultimate Collection, and it's very, very good. There's Volume 1, Volume 2. Volume 1 has Tarantula, The Mole People with John Agar, The Incredible Shrinking Man, Monolith Monsters, and Monster on the Campus. Volume 2 has Dr. Cyclops, The Cult of the Cobra, The Land Unknown, Deadly Mantis, and The Leech Woman. And to kind of sum them up, there's a few giant insect things. And here we have Deadly Mantis, and in this one we have Tarantula. And by the way, Tarantula is destroyed by Clint Eastwood in a jet fighter using napalm. Mole People is a great one about people living in the center of the earth, have been there for centuries. They're found by John Agar. Incredible Shrinking Man is another story that was written by Richard Matheson. The screenplay might have been by Richard Matheson also. Very well done, with great special effects for its time. So these are still in print, but they're generally, when I see them, they're in a single package, and they cost a little bit more. They cost, like, retail for $60 for the 10 films, but even at that price, they're really worth it because they're nicely remastered. They look great. Here's Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is one of the classics of all time, and some people say the worst movie ever made. But I've seen worse movies, much worse movies than this, and I think this one, as crazy as it is, has a certain charm to it, has that Ed Wood charm. This edition, which by the way is also still in print, has like a 2-hour, you know, it's like a feature film on Ed Wood and on his movies and on Plan 9 in particular, but covers all his movies and all his incidental actors. It's an awesome documentary and just worth having. Anyway, even if you didn't have the movie, it'd be worth having a documentary. But the movie is a classic. The show's color, but it's in black and white, of course. Invasion of the Body Snatchers came out in 1955, right at the height of the McCarthy era, when people were looking for communists under their beds. And of course, it's the story that we all know well, that was done again in the 80s, about an invasion of aliens who create exact lookalikes of you and your parents and all your friends. And they kind of develop in these little pods. And when the pods break open, there's an exact replica of you, and then they take you over. And you can't tell one from another. This is an awesome film, worth getting. I think there's a new print of this with a different cover, but they can't really improve on this one. They just re-released it again. Fiend Without a Face is one of my favorites, and it's an obscure favorite that I saw maybe on Creature Feature a number of years ago. This is a Criterion collection one, and they cleaned up the film. As you can see, Fiend Without a Face, if you can see that picture, they're actually brain suckers. And once again, they live near a nuclear power plant, and whenever the power plant juice is turned up, these things go crazy, and they seem to get more power, and they start attacking people. And when they get powerful enough, they turn from invisible, and you can actually see them. And yeah, this is a story of how they deal with that menace and destroy it. The menace of nuclear menace. This is Creature from Black Lagoon. Also stars John Agar in the first one. This is the Legacy collection on Universal, and it includes the other movies as well. Let's see, includes Creature, but also, let's see, I think there's Return of the Creature or something, Back to the Black, I don't know, that's Revenge of the Creature, and The Creature Walks Among Us. Also has a documentary on the making of it called Back to the Black Lagoon. These are pretty awesome. They're kind of science fiction because this creature is kind of a throwback. And as the stories go along, when they get to the next story, they capture the thing and they try through drugs and experiments, they try to make it human, which is always, of course, a failure. And you just can't do that. Here's one of the worst. This one is definitely worse than Plan 9 from Outer Space. The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman has the most ludicrous special effects ever devised by mankind. And of course, you know, I forget why she grows like that. I don't really remember. But it's very ludicrous. It's worth having because it's so ridiculous. It says it's a cult camp classic, and so worth getting if you ever spot this one, or at least watch it on TV. It belongs in every sci-fi collection, though. Okay, so that's my 10 for now. Kept it under 10 minutes, so hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned because I have another one coming up. So take care, peace, and stay humble, my friends.